Welcome back, folks. Sheepdog Smokey here, and as always, the very people we hear screaming the children are off limits, how dare you use children, are the ones who do that very thing and ignore when liberals threaten children. We've had people who have threatened any number of Republican office holders' families, with people trying to break down doors at Tucker Carlson's home while Tucker wasn't there, so his wife and kids were scared out of their minds. But now the New York Department of Education is using Greta Thunberg, a child that we have been told has Asperger's, which is a mental issue. So rather than having her in school, where she can be properly cared for by people who are trained for this, or at home with her parents, she is still out giving speeches, demanding that the world bow to her agenda. Currently, it is believe science and stay home. Child, I am 42 years old. I have never in my life seen anything, and that includes my life as a student studying history, where the government has ordered a nationwide quarantine. There have been situations where there is a viral outbreak and they will quarantine an area, normally by sending doctors to treat the people right then and there, so as to not have it spread. For crying out loud, that's the literal plot of the movie Outbreak. But we have a virus that escapes Wuhan, China, that is brand new, introduced into a wet market just miles from a virology lab, and we're supposed to believe this is all Donald Trump's fault, and we're supposed to quarantine ourselves, basically ensuring we don't have herd immunity, and still bow to the liberal globalist agenda, which will cripple economies. But I'll let you listen to it from the mouth of the person reading the script her handlers gave her.
Listen to the science and listen to the experts. And that, of course, not only goes for the corona crisis, but also all crises. For example, the climate crisis and the ecological crisis, which, of course, is still ongoing.
One of my more recent videos had two doctors that are saying we do not need to stay home. We do not need to shut down the economy and cripple people financially because of this virus. They're on record saying Fauci is not a doctor that still sees patients. He doesn't know the same as someone who is still seeing patients. And within a day, I've already seen a story where someone is claiming that they were paid to do that, or they're wrong, they don't know enough, they're not the ones to listen to. These are MDs on the ground treating patients. There are hospitals crying out to be reopened because they're having to lay staff off because they're not doing anything but COVID-19. And this is crippling the hospitals. And I understand a hospital should not be run like a business, but they are, because they have to be able to function. And to function, they need equipment and medication and PPE and people, which cost money. When they're no longer having that income, they're laying people off. What if one of the effects of this shutdown is that all of a sudden we go from, just looking at Dallas-Fort Worth, probably in excess of 10 large hospitals in Dallas-Fort Worth alone. I know 3 in Fort Worth, at least 3 or 4 in Dallas, and probably 3 or 4, at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 in Arlington. So 10 large hospitals. What if that was restricted to JPS in Fort Worth and Parkland in Dallas? And people now were, instead of being treated very close to home, where an ambulance can get them to a hospital in minutes, they're on the road having to hope traffic opens up so they can get to the 1 or 2 hospitals left because they could not maintain the hospital. Yet we still have idiots like this where they are feeding a child a script demanding the world bow to the agenda of the people who are tyrants and want to subjugate the planet. In my mind, this is on par with child abuse. This is a child who does not understand any better. She has been given a life of luxury, cruising around on bullet trains and yachts. propped up in front of large crowds that cheer her on. It's the same thing that they did with Hogg and Gonzalez after Parkland. They propped them up on a pedestal, handed them scripts, told them scream and yell at the people, cry on camera that you just don't understand why they won't give up their guns because of that pesky Second Amendment. Except this time it's give up your freedom. Give up your ability to go and meet with friends and to go to work and to go and have a meal and to travel and just stay home. You don't need to do anything. You just stay home. We don't care that you are literally eating, Spam 7 days in a row because that's all you could afford. We don't care that your power may be shut off and you may be evicted when we finally open this up because you haven't paid rent in 2 months. The people doing this and the people feeding Thunberg her scripts do not care about you. They care about power, stealing as much of it as they can and maintaining it. Because once they have that power, they live a life of luxury, while sneering down at we peasants whose tax money or whose ticket sales to their high-priced galas pay for their luxury life. Right now, Nancy Pelosi is refusing to return to Washington because she doesn't feel safe. Literally crippling the government. Nothing can get done. Because Nancy Pelosi has deemed that Congress is non-essential. The only thing I agree with her on, at least when it comes to her and her ilk. I would love to see Kevin McCarthy or Dan Crenshaw or Louis Gilbert stand up, calling the session to order, with or without certain members. You don't need a quorum for certain things. And if McCarthy did that, Pelosi and every other Democrat would be back in that chamber within 24 hours, demanding that he be put in prison for doing what they didn't want him to do. They do not care about people who are scared out of their minds where their next meal is going to come from, let alone their rent payment or utility bills, because they've not worked in 2 months. And they use children to force their message on the world. That is wrong. It is flat wrong, and it should be decried every time anyone does it. But of course, they're Democrats. The media loves them. Because the media, just like the Democrats in power and just like Thunberg and her handlers, live lives of luxury. While the media idiots from MSNBC, CNN, or whatever, while the celebrities in LA or wherever else they've gone, live in their mansions, telling us, we're all in this together, as they are still eating steak and whatever else they want, we are expected to suffer. And I'm tired of it. States are already reopening. They're going slow, which is their prerogative. I'm not an advocate of just saying, okay, boom, everybody open. For one, there are businesses that couldn't do that. Some of their employees that they laid off have moved away to move in with family because they couldn't pay rent. So they're going to have to reopen slowly because they're going to be understaffed. Some are not staffed at all. Look at movie theaters, bars, other places like that that have been completely shut down. They're going to have to reassess on how to reopen. Some of them may never be able to because of finances. But it is time, it is past time to end the moronic everyone stay at home and just trust your exalted Democrats to tell you when you may return to your life. Don't know what else to say. I'm tired of watching children be used by tyrants to demand that they be praised for their subjugation of the world. Let me know what you think, though. As always, be civil. If any of the idiots in the DNC or the media, Acosta, Cuomo, Pelosi, any of them show up, as always, I won't be vulgar, but I'll be very, very blunt. The rest of us can converse like civil, logical adults, because we are. We're not here to scream and yell, we're here to discuss and debate. And dissent can be done civilly. As always, please remember to like and share the video so we expand the conversation on the channel. I am doing the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers, so make sure to subscribe so you're part of that, and turn on notifications to be aware of all new content. Until next time, everyone, stay safe, smart, and healthy. Be careful, and have a wonderful day.